What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. I'm your boy NarikChase, and today we're taking a deep dive into Ryan Reynolds as Hal Jordan in the 2011 Green Lantern film. This movie has become one of the most controversial superhero films of the modern era. Some fans think it's a misunderstood attempt at adapting DC's cosmic mythology, and others see it as a major misfire that stalled Green Lantern on the big screen for over a decade. But today, we're not reviewing the whole movie. We're focusing on one thing: Ryan Reynolds as Hal Jordan. Was he the right actor for the role? Did he capture the essence of the character? And if the movie had been better, could Reynolds have been a truly great Green Lantern? When Ryan Reynolds was cast as Hal Jordan, the decision actually made a lot of sense. Reynolds has always had a natural charisma on screen. He plays confident, sarcastic characters extremely well, and Hal Jordan, at least in the comics, does have a certain swagger to him. He's a fearless test pilot, someone who pushes limits and believes he can handle anything thrown at him. So on paper, Reynolds was not a bad choice at all. In fact, you could argue the casting was one of the smartest decisions the movie made. Reynolds had the star power, the humor, and the charm to carry a major superhero franchise. The problem was never really the actor. The problem was how the character was written and directed. Ryan Reynolds brings a lot of personality to Hal Jordan. From the beginning of the film, he sells the idea that Hal is a talented but reckless pilot. There's confidence there, but also immaturity. And to be fair, that part actually works. Hal Jordan is supposed to start off flawed. He's cocky, impulsive, and not always the most responsible person in the room. The Green Lantern story is about him growing into the role of a hero. Reynolds captures the early version of Hal pretty well. The issue comes with the tone of the performance. Ryan Reynolds naturally leans into comedy, and the film allows him to play that side of the character quite a bit. Sometimes it works. His sarcastic dialogue and playful attitude can make Hal feel approachable and human. But other times, the humor goes a little too far. Instead of feeling like Hal Jordan with some humor mixed in, the character occasionally starts to feel like Ryan Reynolds doing his usual comedic persona. And that creates a strange balance problem. Hal Jordan should have swagger, but he also needs to feel heroic. He's supposed to become one of the greatest members of the Green Lantern Corps. The performance gets close to that heroic energy a few times, but it never truly reaches it. One of the biggest issues with the portrayal is that the movie never gives Hal Jordan a defining moment. Every great superhero performance has at least one scene where the character truly becomes the hero. Think about that moment when the hero stands up, accepts the responsibility, and proves they belong in that role. With Hal Jordan, we almost get there. There are scenes where he begins to understand what the ring represents. There are moments where he realizes that willpower is the true source of a Green Lantern's strength. But the film never truly delivers the powerful emotional payoff that should come with that realization. Instead of a legendary Green Lantern moment, we get something that feels rushed. And because of that, Ryan Reynolds never quite gets the chance to fully show us Hal Jordan at his peak. Let's talk about the suit, because this was one of the most controversial aspects of the movie. The design itself is actually pretty cool. The glowing lines, the alien texture, and the way the costume forms from the ring's energy all fit with the concept of the Green Lantern Corps. It reinforces the idea that the suit is a construct created by willpower. But the execution is where things get tricky. The suit is completely CGI. Now, in theory, that sounds fine because the ring creates constructs out of energy, but visually it ends up feeling artificial. There's no weight to it, no physical presence. A hybrid approach probably would have worked much better. Imagine a practical costume with CGI enhancements. The physical suit would give the character realism, while the digital effects could still emphasize the energy based nature of the ring. Instead, the full CGI suit sometimes pulls viewers out of the scene. And unfortunately, that affects how seriously we take the character. Hal Jordan's story is supposed to be about overcoming fear. That's the entire foundation of the Green Lantern mythology. The core are chosen because they can overcome great fear and channel their willpower into the ring. The film tries to explore this idea through Hal's personal history, particularly his relationship with his father, who was also a pilot. Those scenes are actually some of the strongest emotional moments in the movie. They give Hal a reason to struggle with fear and self doubt. But again, the payoff feels rushed. Instead of a powerful emotional breakthrough, the arc resolves quickly so the story can move on to the final battle. And that hurts the impact of Hal's transformation. This is the question that always comes up when people talk about the movie. Could Ryan Reynolds have been a great Hal Jordan if the film had been better? Honestly, I think the answer is yes. He has the charisma for the role. He has the confidence and energy needed to portray a fearless pilot. And when he tones down the humor, you can actually see glimpses of a serious heroic presence. The ingredients were there. The script just never gave him the opportunity to fully deliver. The unfortunate reality is that this movie ended up defining Ryan Reynolds' time as Hal Jordan. The film struggled critically and commercially, and plans for sequels were quickly abandoned. Ironically, Reynolds would later find massive success playing another comic book character, Deadpool. And that role actually fits his natural style much better. Deadpool thrives on sarcasm, comedy, and self-awareness. Hal Jordan requires a slightly different balance. In the end, Ryan Reynolds was not a bad choice for Hal Jordan. In fact, the casting had a lot of potential. His charisma, humor, and screen presence could have worked extremely well in the role. But the film never quite finds the right tone for the character, and Reynolds never gets to define the heroic moment that truly establishes him as Green Lantern. He gets close, very close. But in the end, this version of Hal Jordan feels like a missed opportunity rather than the legendary hero fans were hoping to see. Having said that, Ryan Reynolds as Hal Jordan definitely deserves 2 out of 5. Alright then, guys, in the comments below, let me know. Did you like Ryan Reynolds as Hal Jordan? Did you not like him? Did you agree with any of my points? Or are there any other interesting topics or points that I could have went over and didn't really think about? Be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and the notification button to get the best of what we got going on the channel. And we'll definitely catch you guys later.